Yeah, they say now you're in a better place, and I would be too if I could see your face. You should be here, standing with your arm around me here, cutting up, cracking a cold beer, saying cheers. Hey y'all, it's sure been a good year. It's one of those moments that's got your name written all over it, and you know that if I had just one wish, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. Oh, you should be here.
A bad dream or something. If I could have been there, I could have done something, you know, I could have helped them. I could.
Honey. There was nothing that you could do. There was nothing that any of us could do.
He's just such a beautiful man. Just so full of love and life. Now he's gone.
We're all gonna miss him.
It's okay to be sad. Uncle Jesse? Is it okay to cry?
You bet.
And we want to get back to that breaking news on the death of comedian Bob Saget in Orlando, Florida. We have entertainment reporter Josh McBride on the phone with us. So, Josh, are you there?
I am, yeah.
Thank you so much for making the time for us. And this comes as a shock to so many tonight. What is your reaction?
Look, a big loss for the entertainment community. You know, if you were a child or a teenager in the 90s, you will remember Bob Saget, of course, as his famous role as Danny Tanner on Full House. This is a big loss, especially for the comedy community. We don't know much. We do know that the Orange County Sheriff Office did put out a tweet less than an hour ago. You know, people were skeptical about what he had passed from. We're not sure yet. They do say, quote, the man was identified as Robert Saget and pronounced deceased on scene. Detectives found no signs of foul play or drug use in this case. You know, if you don't know him from Full House, you know him from America's Funniest Home Videos or How I Met Your Mother. This is a big loss.
Yeah, and talk about his mark on Hollywood, because he was so dynamic, right? He was raunchy, he did adult comedy, he was inappropriate at times, but so funny, and yet he was America's favorite dad.
Absolutely. And we grew up with him as America's favorite dad. You know, I talked to a couple of sources that are close to him and his family, and they're absolutely devastated. We grew up with him making jokes, and also making jokes off of Full House, or Fuller House, rather, that pushed the barriers of comedy. This is a big loss for I feel like comedians, because he was an icon, especially in this space. People who may be new to Bob Saget, and they shouldn't be, they might have seen him on The Masked Singer in 2020. He actually had dates lined up through June for this tour that he's on right now, the I Don't Do Negative tour. So this is really, it comes as a shock, really.
And what were his latter days like? I mean, we kind of remember him from the 90s, as you said. Everyone who grew up in the 90s knows him as his Full House character, and we knew that he was a comedian later. But what was his life like, you know, over the past decade or so?
Yeah, well, he did join the cast of Fuller House when Full House did do the revamp. I think that that's important to mention because that was such a big success on Netflix. He did a lot of documentaries where he popped in sort of to one-off episodes here and there. I mentioned How I Met Your Mother. He did that. In 2014, he was actually nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album. I mean, this guy kind of had TV and comedy on lock. This is what he did, and I feel like he was one of those actors who really could walk on any comedic television show and get a cameo role if he wanted. This was a person who pushed the boundaries and the limits of comedy. You might remember him. He was also in Madagascar in 2000.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV.